Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Stacy. I'm a registered nurse. If you're new here, welcome in. If you're coming back, I'm so glad to have you. I thought we would talk today about things that we wish that we would have known when we became nurses. What's some advice that you would give to your younger self or to new nurses? Let's talk about it. If you like what you see here, then I ask that you like, subscribe, and follow for more, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's talk about advice that we would wish that we had when we were young nurses, or advice that we would give to new nurses coming in. Something that I wish that I had learned earlier on in my career would be how to prioritize and triage my day. Now, I started in a facility, so I am coming from two different perspectives. In a facility standpoint, I wish I would have learned how to earlier on know what needed to be done right now, what needed to be done after that, and what could be pushed to another shift if necessary. Because I think I spent a lot of time trying to go in order to get things done when I was a younger nurse, that I had a hard time getting out on time and getting my documentation done. And as I got older, I learned that I had to do what was important first, what was critical first, and work my way down the list to what was least critical. And I don't know if we know that when we're first starting out, that it's really important to do what's critical first and work your way down to the least critical items. That way, if they need to be moved around, they can be. If you need to push that to another shift or to the next day, sometimes that has to be done in healthcare. Sometimes the critical things take precedence over the things that can be pushed to another day. Now, should you keep pushing those non-critical things? No, you have to address them. And you have to know what the deadline is and try to meet that deadline. Something that I did in the beginning that set me up for success was that I kept track of what I had done throughout my shift by making a list of things. It's really important when you're doing nursing to make a list of things that you want to accomplish on your shift. Again, you're going to want to go from most critical to least critical when you're talking about planning your day. I think that's a really important piece of advice when you're working in a facility setting. I come from long-term care background, and you have a large volume of people in long-term care that you have to service. So you want to make sure that you have a plan for your day, and you want to go in there having a plan and trying to work through that plan and that list, but also being prepared to shift that plan as things change in your day. Another thing that I wish that I would have known is that you've got to make space in your day for the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. When I was a new nurse, it really threw me off to throw something into my day that wasn't expected. And it really got me out of sorts emotionally and mentally sometimes when I was in my 20s. That's not to say that it doesn't get to me now to say, oh man, I was not anticipating that today. But I am able to now say, okay, let me shift this, this, and this so that I can accomplish this. Now, from a hospice standpoint, that I'm a little bit younger in that aspect of my nursing career. But one thing that I would tell people that are coming in as new hospice nurses is that it is very important that you set your week up. It is very important that you look at the map and see where people are geographically so that you can plan for who you plan to see. Everybody wants a specific date, they want a specific time, they want you to meet their schedule. It's really hard to meet 15 or 20 patients' demands for their own personalized schedule because they overlap sometimes. And we're talking about people, sometimes they have the same day that overlaps. So what you need to do is look at an area geographically. Some people have an immovable schedule. And so when I know that there's a person who is in a specific area that has a set day and time that they want me to be there, I try to group other people that are in that area into that day so that I can work around that person. I don't know if that makes sense, but it worked for me. I was able to sometimes see 6 or 7 people a day if it was a good day. And on an average day where I was getting home by the time I was done with my day and didn't have anything left to do, I would see 4 or 5 people a day, which is ideal. 5 people a day is doable, and 4 people a day is a lovely day, depending on where you're driving. You don't want to be driving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You want to group all your visits in a certain area as best as you can. And again, if you have those people that are sitting in an area and they say, this is the only date and time I can do, and you know that others are flexible, you can put that person, plot them in that time frame, and schedule your other people around that person. That is how I make it work for me, and that is how I successfully get my day done. That's not to say that unexpected things don't happen. Bob is maybe going to call you about Grandma Mary and tell you that she is having a changing condition. And so your day is going to change, and you're going to have to call those patients and say, listen, I've had a change in my day and I'm not going to be able to see so-and-so today. And so I'm going to have to just move things around. Is another day going to work for you? And you look at your schedule and see, when will I be in this area again? And how can I fit this person in? I used to say that I front loaded my week, but that didn't, I would try to do that, but the fact of the matter is that everything tends to happen on Fridays. So you want to leave your Fridays a little bit open. If you can, you want to schedule less visits on a Friday than throughout the week when it's possible. Sometimes that is not possible when you're doing home care. When you're doing hospice at home, sometimes you've got 2 or 3 people that are actively dying or have unmanaged symptoms at the same time, and you're squeezing them all into daily visits, all 3 of those people on top of your regular schedule. So it can be really challenging to do your schedule, but my biggest piece of advice is to look at your schedule every week. You have a set idea in your mind what days and times certain people need to be seen, and a good rule of thumb is to keep people on a routine when possible, as long as their symptoms are managed. And people are very agreeable to this. If they know you're coming at this time and you show up at this time, or you give them a time range. I like to say somewhere between 9 and 10, somewhere between 10:30 and 11:30, I will be there to see your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter. I like to give them an hour time range window so that if something happens at visit A, I'm not shorting visit B. I'm not telling them I'm going to be there at 10 and showing up at 10:30. I'm telling you, hey, I'm going to be there somewhere between 10 and 11. That way, if I'm there at 10:30, they knew I was within that time range that I promised to be there. And we can anticipate that. A good rule of thumb is also to contact your people the night before or the morning of. Sometimes I like to spend my morning. I have a lot of patients who don't want to be seen at 7:30, 8 in the morning. They don't want to be seen until after 9. Standardly. There's some patients that are like, hey, can you come see mom at 8 because I don't have time for you to come any other time. I would love to hear about it in my comments. And if you like what you see here, then I ask that you like, subscribe, and follow for more. And I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.